In the blistering deserts of Egypt, buried beneath the relentless sands, lie tombs shrouded in darkness and secrecy. These are not merely resting places for kings. They are monuments to a power that refuses to die. The Curse of the Pharaohs, a tale whispered in fear and disbelief, claims that those who dare disturb the eternal slumber of the ancient rulers will face an unnatural demise. But what if this isn't just a story? What if the warnings etched into the stone walls were not mere superstition, but a promise of retribution? It began long before the infamous discovery of Tutankhamun's tomb. For centuries, locals spoke of strange deaths, of men who ventured too far into these sacred grounds and returned only to succumb to inexplicable fates. These were not the delusions of the uneducated or the superstitious. The hieroglyphs themselves were chillingly explicit. The one who enters uninvited shall bear the burden of doom. When the explorers, archaeologists, and treasure hunters of the 19th and 20th centuries ignored these warnings, they unleashed something ancient, something that does not forget and does not forgive. The curse became more than legend. It became reality, with names and dates etched into obituaries instead of stone tablets. Yet even in the face of death and misfortune, the world could not look away. The allure of the pharaoh's treasures, their secrets, and their eternal power was too great. But for those who sought them, the price was higher than they could ever have imagined. Section 1. The Origins of the Curse. The Curse of the Pharaohs is not merely born of superstition. It is a tapestry of ancient fear, deliberate warnings, and chilling coincidences. In the heart of Egypt's golden age, the pharaohs were not merely kings. They were divine entities, wielding power that transcended death. Their tombs were sacred vessels, designed not just to preserve their bodies, but to ensure their eternal domination in the afterlife. To disturb these resting places was to invite divine retribution, a punishment as swift as it was inescapable. The ancient Egyptians left no room for ambiguity. Tomb inscriptions warned intruders in stark, horrifying terms. One fragment unearthed near the Valley of the Kings read, "To those who disturb the sacred tomb, you will face endless torment, your lineage will wither, and your soul will wander in eternal darkness." Some tombs were even outfitted with traps so ingenious they bordered on malevolence. Hidden mechanisms released deadly gas, chambers collapsed at the faintest touch, and venom-tipped darts awaited those who ventured too deep. But the most sinister protections were invisible, curses etched into stone, whispered into artifacts, and perhaps woven into the very fabric of these tombs. When Howard Carter's team unearthed Tutankhamun's tomb in 1922, they unknowingly pulled at a thread that unraveled centuries of fear. Lord Carnarvon, the financier of the expedition, was the first to fall. Stricken with a sudden fever, his body wasted away over weeks. Local rumors whispered that Carnarvon's death coincided with a blackout in Cairo, plunging the city into darkness at the exact moment of his passing. His dog, stationed thousands of miles away in England, let out an unearthly howl before dropping dead the same night. But the curse's reach extended far beyond Carnarvon. The lead archaeologist, Howard Carter, escaped immediate death but was plagued by strange occurrences. His canary, brought to the site for good luck, was reportedly eaten alive by a cobra, the very symbol of the pharaoh's wrath. On the day the tomb was opened, workers on the excavation spoke in hushed tones of shadows moving without cause, of cold drafts that seemed to whisper threats in their ears. Some refused to return to the site, claiming that the spirits of the tomb watched them with growing malice. Arthur Mace, a key member of Carter's team, developed a mysterious paralysis and succumbed to an unexplained illness. Richard Bethel, Carnarvon's secretary, was found dead in his home under circumstances that Scotland Yard described as unsettling but inconclusive. Bethel's father, unable to cope with the loss, reportedly jumped from his London apartment, leaving behind a single note, "The curse has followed me here." Even artifacts removed from the tomb seemed to carry the curse. A British museum curator spoke of inexplicable accidents plaguing their transport and storage. One piece, a small amulet inscribed with protective symbols, was reported to have caused its handler to suffer debilitating migraines until he abandoned his post. Locals whispered that the amulet's true purpose was not protection, but vengeance against anyone who dared to remove it from its sacred resting place. The skeptics scoffed at these tales, citing coincidence or natural causes. They attributed the deaths to exposure to ancient mold spores or the psychological toll of the expedition. Yet, the unexplained details remained. How could so many seemingly unrelated tragedies strike individuals connected to the tomb? How could entire families report seeing apparitions or hearing the eerie chanting of long-dead priests in their homes after receiving even minor artifacts as gifts? In the shadows of history, the curse looms larger than life, an ancient warning made manifest. It asks one chilling question. When humanity defies the gods of the past, how far will their wrath reach? Section 2. The victims and their fates. Once the Pharaoh's curse was invoked, its reach seemed boundless, its malice precise. The names of those who suffered became etched in the annals of history, their fates a grim testament to the warnings carved into the ancient tombs. Lord Carnarvon may have been the first, but he was far from the last. Arthur Merton, the photographer who captured the haunting images of Tutankhamun's treasures, complained of an inexplicable sense of dread after entering the tomb. Within weeks, his health deteriorated. His body, discovered in his studio, was surrounded by his undeveloped negatives, as though he had tried to capture something unseen, something that refused to be photographed. George J. Gould, an affluent visitor to the tomb, fell ill mere hours after his departure. Witnesses claimed he muttered about eyes in the dark and the weight of an invisible presence. His fever worsened, and he died days later. Doctors were unable to identify a cause, but the curse didn't limit itself to the excavation site. Richard Bethel, Carter's secretary, was found lifeless in his London apartment. His neighbors reported strange occurrences in the days leading to his death, unseen footsteps echoing through the halls, the flickering of gas lamps, and the distant sound of something scratching at his door. Bethel's father, overcome with despair, reportedly leapt to his death from his balcony, leaving only a cryptic note, "They come for us all, one by one." Howard Carter himself seemed immune to the immediate effects of the curse, though whispers followed him wherever he went. Carter's diary contained an entry that was never meant to be read by others. He described a dream in which he was trapped inside a tomb, suffocating as voices called out his name. He awoke to find his room filled with the overpowering scent of myrrh, a fragrance used in ancient burial rituals. Even the artifacts themselves seemed to carry the curse. A young museum worker, tasked with cataloging items from Tutankhamun's tomb, was reportedly found clawing at his own eyes, screaming that he could see faces staring from the gold. He never recovered, and the artifact was quietly removed from the museum's display. A whisper of retribution. In Cairo, rumors grew that the curse was not merely retribution but a punishment for failing to respect the pharaoh's sanctity. Locals avoided speaking of the tomb in anything but hushed tones. Elders claimed that the spirits of the dead had been disturbed and now wandered restlessly, seeking to reclaim what was taken. The curse beyond the tomb. Even years after the excavation, strange phenomena persisted. In one chilling case, a collector who had purchased a golden amulet linked to Tutankhamun's burial was found dead in his library. The walls of the room were scorched, yet no fire had been reported. The amulet itself was found unscathed, its inscription, "Return me to my resting place or face my wrath," gleaming eerily in the light. The skeptics dismissed these events, but those closest to the victims could not ignore the patterns. Sudden illnesses, untimely deaths, and a creeping dread that defied explanation. The curse seemed to transcend physical boundaries, reaching across continents and years, leaving devastation in its wake. Was this the vengeance of the pharaohs, their power undiminished even after millennia? Or was it something else? Something ancient, malevolent, and waiting for the next intruder to awaken it? Section 3. Modern Exploration and Continuing Fear. Time has dulled neither the allure nor the dread of the pharaoh's curse. Despite the passage of decades, the mysteries of ancient tombs continue to haunt those who dare to disturb them. Modern explorers, armed with technology and skepticism, have ventured into these sacred spaces, only to find that the curse is as potent and unforgiving as ever. In 1972, a team of researchers transporting artifacts from Tutankhamun's tomb for an international exhibition experienced an unsettling series of events. The plane carrying the items reportedly suffered severe turbulence, and passengers described an unnatural sense of suffocation as though invisible hands gripped their throats. Upon landing, several crates containing the artifacts were inexplicably damaged, though the cargo hold showed no signs of tampering. One artifact, a golden scarab amulet, was found shattered, its pieces strangely warm to the touch. Among the researchers was Dr. Evelyn Harrow, an outspoken critic of the curse. She dismissed the incident as a mechanical failure, but within weeks, she developed a persistent cough. Medical examinations revealed no cause, yet her condition worsened rapidly. She confided to a colleague about vivid nightmares of being trapped in a tomb, her body wrapped in bandages, her screams muffled by ancient chants. She passed away under mysterious circumstances, her autopsy inconclusive, a legacy of fear. In 2006, a documentary team filming inside an unexplored tomb near Saqqara encountered technical malfunctions that defied explanation. Cameras shut down without warning. Recording devices captured disembodied voices whispering in languages long dead, and crew members reported a chilling sensation of being watched. One cameraman, visibly shaken, described seeing a figure at the edge of the shadows, a tall, imposing form with the unmistakable visage of a pharaoh. The footage recovered from the site only deepened the unease. Frames showed strange flickers of light that formed patterns resembling hieroglyphs, but experts could not decipher their meaning. The team abandoned the project, and the tomb's entrance was sealed, left to the sands once more. Science meets the supernatural. Modern science has attempted to explain these phenomena. Microbial spores, long dormant in sealed chambers, can cause illness when inhaled. Psychological stress may amplify the fear of curses, creating a feedback loop of dread and perceived danger. But even these explanations falter in the face of certain incidents. In 2019, a billionaire collector unveiled a collection of artifacts supposedly smuggled from a tomb in Giza. Within a month, his family estate was consumed by a fire of unknown origin, leaving behind no survivors. Investigators found a single artifact intact amid the ashes, a statue of the god Anubis, its surface unmarred and its eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. The statue was later lost in transit to a museum, its whereabouts still unknown. Whispers of the past, echoes of the future. The curse persists not only in the physical realm but in the psyche of those who dare challenge it. Dreams of suffocation, whispers in the night, and the unshakable feeling of being watched plague those who cross paths with these relics. The line between myth and reality blurs, leaving behind a haunting question. If the Pharaoh's wrath is truly real, how far does it extend, and who will be next to feel its icy grip? Conclusion: the eternal shadow of the pharaohs. The curse of the pharaohs lingers, an unrelenting specter that refuses to fade into the annals of myth. It is not merely a tale of vengeance or divine wrath. It is a profound reminder of humanity's fragility and arrogance in the face of the unknown. The sands of Egypt hold secrets older than memory, and perhaps some of those secrets were never meant to be unearthed. The pattern is too precise, the deaths too chillingly aligned to dismiss as mere coincidence. Those who have dared disturb the pharaoh's eternal rest have paid with their sanity, their lives, or both. The hieroglyphs etched into the walls of ancient tombs were not idle threats. They were promises, grim and unyielding, from a time when the living and the dead shared a more intimate connection. And what of those artifacts that have traveled far from the sands of Egypt? In museums and private collections, they sit as silent witnesses to the horrors they have wrought. Visitors gaze upon them in awe, unaware of the lives claimed in their wake. Do these relics yearn to return to their sacred origins, their presence in foreign lands an insult to the gods that once commanded them? Yet the question remains, is the curse real, or is it the weight of human guilt, fear, and imagination that breathes life into these tragedies? Science offers its explanations: microbes, toxins, psychological distress. but it cannot account for the whispers in the dark, the shadowy figures that linger at the edges of perception, the eerie synchronicities that tie death to desecration. Perhaps the curse is both real and symbolic, a testament to the boundaries we should not cross. In seeking to unravel the mysteries of the pharaohs, we have awakened something ancient, something far beyond our understanding. The curse is a warning, not just to those who disturb the tombs, but to humanity as a whole. Some secrets are best left buried. And so, as the sands of Egypt shift and cover the past once more, one cannot help but wonder, how many more warnings must we ignore before the wrath of the ancients descends upon us all?